Well, good morning. Welcome to Wellspring. Today is the 27th of June, and I am Edward Burlbaugh as part of your Sunday service team. Before we get into the main part of the service, we have a few announcements to make. Some of you know this already, but I'll repeat myself, and that is that Early Birds is meeting on Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. And the link is on our website and goes out in the weekly email if you're on our list. Yes, and upcoming speakers for July, I will be speaking on the 4th, Peggy Shin will be speaking on the 11th, I will speak on the 18th, and Kamatara will be speaking on the 25th of July. And just want to mention, I know last Sunday those of you who were watching, the video of the Zoom meeting seemed a little pixelated and difficult to watch. I want to remind you that the video is on our website and the video looks great there. So we got that taken care of. And lastly, our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. And you can submit a prayer request to Martha or Geneva Collins. And we also have a link on our website that allows you to submit a prayer request. And we pray with you virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15. We do that on Zoom, and we actually are getting some prayer warriors from all over the country right now. So you may, if you've got something that you would like a little prayer support with, submit a prayer request, and we will be happy to pray with you for that. And at that same time at 4:15, you may want to just take a moment of your own and sit in your quiet space and relax and just know that Spirit is enfolding you just as the prayer team is working for you and with you. We know that Spirit knows no boundaries, no limits, no dimensions. So anyway, that concludes our announcements. Let me just know that right now, we are invoking Spirit into this sanctuary and into this Zoom meeting. And so as we step into this present moment, we turn and invoke and acknowledge the presence of Spirit right here, right now. It is the everything, the all, the Alpha and Omega. Spirit is above, below, around, and through everything there is. This Spirit is true love. As we are a part of everything, we too are true love. True love flows through us and out to all we meet today, this week, and for the rest of eternity. As we feel this flow through us, we are grateful that we live in a universe that supports us, supports our growth, and brings us nothing but our highest and greatest good. We also know that today, as Reverend Randy is speaking, and as he's playing music for us, that the prayer of true love is flowing through him as well. And we give thanks for this again and say, and so it is. So now please stand if you are able and sing with us our Song of Joy.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free, and I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be wells, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take the higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day.
Oh, thank you, Judy and Barry. And now if you'll be seated and recite with me our vision, mission, and affirmation statement. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. And our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And now our affirmation. I know that my word penetrates any unbelief in my mind. I relax and let a power greater than myself work for me, in me, and through me. Everything in my world works harmoniously, divinely. I know that divine wisdom operates in every aspect of my life. And now I'd like to introduce Reverend Randy Granger, who is going to do our first musical piece. Randy.
Well, you haven't heard it yet, so. I've been thinking about the cicadas, the brood X. In case you haven't heard about it, there's a whole bunch of cicadas that have awakened around the country, even up in northern New Mexico, and they're all climbing around, and they sing this song, and they're only alive for a little bit, and then they sing this song that is the decibel level of a lawnmower or a motorcycle going by. It's about 100 decibels. And one of the cool things about them is when the cicadas sing together, they actually form a chord. Dun, dun, dun. So it's absolutely beautiful. Well, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but I thought of this song that I grew up with that my uncles would sing, and it's a song in Spanish from Mexico, from the Huasteca region, and it's called La Sigara, which means the cicada. And it's a song typically about unrequited love. And this guy is saying, I want to sing just like the cicada does just before I die, playing my guitar underneath the shade tree, because only the cicada knows the depth of my sorrow. And so it's a gorgeous song, La Sigara. Ya no me cantes cigarra, que acabe tu sonsonete, que tu canto aquí en el alma, como un puñal se me mete, sabiendo que cuando cantas, pregonando vas tu muerte. Marinero, marinero, dime si es verdad que sabes, porque distinguir no puedo si en el fondo de los mares hay otro color más negro que el color de mis pesares. Ay, Lara. corrido, ya casi para llorar, me dijo muy afligido, ya me canso de buscar un amor correspondido. Bajo la sombra de un árbol y al compás de mi guitarra, canto alegre este guapango, porque la vida se acaba y quiero morir cantando como muere la cigarra. Ay, Lara. Ay, la la la. Ay, la la la. Y quiero morir cantando como muere la cigarra. Eso.
Oh, thank you, Randy. That was energetic. There you go. That was wonderful. Today's reading is the Native American prayer. O great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me, I come before you, one of your children. I am small and weak. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise, so that I may know the things you have taught my people, the lesson you have hidden in every leaf and rock. I seek strength, not to be superior to my brothers, but to be able to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me ever ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades as a fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. It's a prayer by Yellow Hawk Sioux Chief. So now today's speaker is someone we've heard speak before. It's always been enjoyable. And as he said, we haven't heard him today, so we don't know if it'll be enjoyable today. However, I believe it will be. So it's Reverend Randy Granger.
Thank you for that reading, Edward. Absolutely perfect. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy June. It's almost July. I can't believe it. Today I'm talking about something that I think is an important topic, and I'm going to be talking about how we can become sages for the ages and stages of life. Mature spirituality, in other words. So I wanted to start out with a Native American story. There was once a time when there were only two people on this planet, old man and old woman. They came across each other at one point, and an old woman said to him, "You know, I think it's time we should come to an agreement of some kind. Let us decide how people are going to live on this planet." Old man said, "No, okay, as long as I get first say in everything." She said, "Of course, as long as I get second say in everything." So they decided to decide how people were going to live. And old man said, "I think the women should tan the hides, and they should get the brain of the animal, and they should rub it on, and they should scrape it off with these tools, and it should be very easy and done very quickly." Old woman said, "No, we should do as you say, but it should be very hard work and challenging, because we need to find out who are the good people, who are the good workers, who are the people who take pride in their work." And he said, "All right." So then they said, "Okay, well," he said, "I'll tell you what, let's put their eyes and their mouths and their nose on their faces, and let's put them in a straight line, straight up and down. Old woman says, let's put, like you said, let's put the eyes and the nose and the mouth on their faces, but let's put them kind of crossways. And he said, all right. And so he said, okay, I think that they should have 10 fingers on each hand so that they will be very nimble. And she said, what are you talking about? That'll only get in the way. It's going to confuse them. They'll get tangled up. What we're going to do is put 4 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. He said, okay, I guess I agree with you. And so they went on and on. They were trying to decide, should they have 2 feet or 3 feet? Should, how many arms should people have? And this went on for some time, as you can imagine. So finally, the old woman said, well, let's talk about life and death. Let's talk about if they're going to live or if they're going to die forever. Let's see how that goes. Old man says, all right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw this buffalo chip in the water. And if it floats, the people die for 4 days and live again. But if it sinks, they will die forever. So he threw the buffalo chip into the water and it floated. So no, old woman says, wait, that's not right. Let's decide it this way. I got it this rock, and I'm going to throw it in the water, and if it floats, the people will die for 4 days. If it sinks, if it floats, they'll die for 4 days, it comes back. That's right. If it sinks, the people will die forever. So old woman threw the rock in the water. Of course, it sank. And there she said, it's better that people should die forever. If they didn't die forever, they wouldn't feel sorry for each other, and they wouldn't have sorrow. And then there would be no sympathy in the world. Old man said, okay, let it be that way then. So after a time, old woman had a daughter. Her daughter died. And shortly after that, she said, I've been thinking, let's do it over again. He said, no. Once it's fixed, we're not going to change it. And so to this day, that's why people die forever when they stay dead. So the gospel singer, Cora Armstrong, she said, inside every older person is a younger person wondering what the hell happened. And Master Yoda famously said, when 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not. He said that to Luke. In the old wisdom traditions of cultures all around the world, the elders, they act as a living bridge between the visible, the measurable world, and the unseen realms of spirit and of the soul. Although they're more in touch with the timeless things, the elders would also not be out of touch with the conflicts and the troubles of daily life. In times of great trouble, the elders could be seen to have one foot firmly in the ground of survival and the other in the realms of what's called great imagination. They and the young are both optimists, which is ironic, but I find it to be true. And the elders serve to bridge the meaningful traditions of the past with the viable visions of a future that is trying to become conscious. The bridges also support and connect and are a path to the known and the unknown. So in a time when it's become common for the call of youth to be unheard and almost ignored, really, the idea of trying to awaken the inner elder might seem kind of just odd or just truly weird. Then again, the calling that comes to elders has always involved the strange adventures of finding a great sense of life while facing the nearness of mortality. The word weird was actually originally spelled W-I-R-D, and it referred to someone who had a primary sense of having a foot in each world and having a greater capacity to hold the tension of those opposites. Because of their willingness to face the mortality and be truly weird, I consider myself one of those, the elders become the advocates of life and thus the natural allies of the young, as well as the supporters of meaningful change that can help realign our culture and our nature. Whether we're talking about older people becoming elders or referring to our inner sage of the heart, it's important to know that genuine elders are not easily daunted. Having survived their own troubles, elders are not shocked by anything. They're not overwhelmed by the crises and the conflicts because they have witnessed it all. They've seen it all, as is often said. So having repeatedly seen how things fall apart, the elders have also witnessed the uncanny ways that both nature and culture can find the roots in renewal. In the darkest times, this archetypal energy of the elders tries to reawaken and help us find both ways to survive and ways to truly transform our lives. I believe that push to awaken is happening now. Of course, old age alone cannot make you an elder. For growing older can also lead to a return to infantile attitudes and exaggerations of neediness and fear. And collectively, we fail to imagine aging's meaning as well as its hidden beauty. If we only look through the eyes of the physical of being an elder, that's all that we'll see. But when it comes to waking the elder within, the inner elder, there is something metaphysical, something transcendent, and something spiritual that is required. Wisdom or change seems to come and awaken our inner sage and move into mature spirituality only after a tragedy or a great loss. But sometimes people are born sages. They call them old souls. Has anyone here been called an old soul before? Yeah, probably all of us, huh? There's an underlying unity to all things. And the wise heart, the inner sage, knows this as well as it knows its own breath. We don't need to fear the energies of the world or any other thing. We need to only fear our confusion about them. We risk becoming hermit crabs until we find another discarded shell of someone else's ideas or beliefs, but it will never be a fit of our own design. And typically in society, we put more effort into helping people reach old age than helping them learn what to do in it. And as the old saying warns, we grow gray in the spirit long before we grow gray in our hair. We all talk about wanting to live longer and longer and new improvements in aging, but rarely about living wiser. Those who do not become elders simply become what is called olders, who tend to contribute to the divisions in society, whereas the elders would foster unity above self-interest and harmony over conflicts. My friends, it seems that it is our mutual fate to live in a time of great uncertainty, worldwide upheaval. Increasingly, it seems that we're in danger almost of not having enough wisdom to find our way through all the great crises that trouble us, both nature and human cultures. I get asked pretty regularly from friends, Randy, what should we do? What are we to do? What can we do about everything going on? And I often tell people, stay with that question. Let that question percolate. Let that question simmer, and it'll point its way out. And that's the wisdom of the inner elder. And in times of chaos and change, there can be almost what's called an acceleration or a calling and an awakening of the human spirit. So being connected to the sage of the heart, elders become instinctive humanitarians who can embody wisdom and serve the highest ideals of humanity and teach by example, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. So when we embrace that we are sages for the ages and stages of life, it frees us from comparison and opens the doors to all the wisdom ever known. We've seen in this last year how ongoing stress brings out the trauma in so many people, mirroring the ways that we dealt with trauma and stress as children. We regress, in fact. The inability to see anyone else's point of view, the demanding to get our way in every situation, and mostly the enormous loss of empathy and strong self-interest, these are a reflection of unhealed trauma. Because people behave based on how they were or were not loved. And I'll say that again. People behaved on how they were or were not loved. So our inner heart wisdom calls us to be patient with those who disagree with us, with those who are entrenched in beliefs that are opposite of ours. As challenging as it is, we have to see all of it with compassion. We have to love it all, and that's not easy to do. But we have to have that kindness that leaves no one out. Even the toilet paper hoarding was about that. It was about grasping at the sense of control over situations that make us fearful. And every time that our inner sage chooses wisdom over judgment, detachment over name-calling, we add to the collective human wisdom handed down by our ancestors. I know, growing up sucks. I'll illustrate this with a story that I really love. This is a story about that inner sage maturity that I'm talking about, with the image of a poisonous tree. Now, this tree represents the suffering of the world, and when we discover that a tree is in our midst and is poisonous, our first impulse is to cut it down. to remove it so it can no longer be harmful. We saw this reaction during the pandemic. Rigorous rules and deep fear, judging and blaming, great fear of others who could poison us. But as our compassion deepens, we recognize that this tree is part of the web of life itself. Instead of destroying it, we respect even this tree. Though we may put a fence around it, though we may warn others about it and put signs around it so they won't be harmed, now our language changes. It changes to one of compassion and respect and caution rather than fear. And as our own wisdom deepens, we understand that our very problems and poisons are our best teachers, as is our suffering. It is said that the wisest beings will come looking for this poisonous tree to use its fruit as a medicine to transform the sufferings of the world. And wisdom is knowing that spiritual and emotional poison, metaphorically, is a great teacher. Much like our ancestors watched our animal kin to learn which foods were poisonous and which were edible, it's the same thing. We sages for the ages pass that knowledge on to the generations. We have to. When we see young folk who are doing extraordinary things, brave things, how they are moving things forward, it means, okay, now you've got to step up and be an elder and do the best work that you can. So how do we awaken this inner sage? Well, it's not just getting older, it's getting wiser. Some of the ways that I have found really helpful in my own experience, but also based on traditions handed down, is one of the things that's really popular right now is called forest bathing. But we don't have any forests here, so we'll call it desert bathing. What this means is to immerse yourself fully in nature, whether it's your backyard, whether it's our beautiful desert down by the river. What you do is you go there and you be present and you be still. And you listen for the bird song, for the wind. You feel the sun on your skin, the breeze going by. You smell the creosote. You smell the river. You hear all of the animals chattering and talking to each other. That aligns you with the frequency that is so instinctive within us that when the astronauts first went up into space, they all started to experience migraines and headaches. Finally, somebody came up with this oscillator that imitated 8 hertz frequency, and they sent that into their space capsule and they felt better. We are that connected. Another way to awaken your inner sage is change your perspective. Now, you might wonder what that is, but what I mean is change your perspective, like drive another route home. Something as simple as sleeping on the opposite side of the bed with your head at the foot. Using the different hand to brush your teeth with. Those little things, they wake up your brain and your brain says, wait a minute, something's changing. We better pay attention. It brings out that inner wisdom. And ask yourself daily, I wonder what it's like to be a cashier nowadays. I wonder what it's like to be a truck driver. I wonder what it's like to be on and on. Just it opens you up to that wisdom. Cultivate your intuition. Listen, feel, ask, feel that nudge. Like when my friends ask me, Randy, what should we do? I feel the world's so terrible, it's so bad, I don't know what to do. I tell them, sit with the question. That's where it begins. The other part is to connect with your ancestors or volunteer with young people if you can. You can do it on Zoom even. The other is rhythm and music. You must have rhythm, you must have music, you must have drumming, dance in your kitchen or outside. When I go for walks really early in the morning, I usually go before 6 o'clock when I walk. And I remember last March I was walking. It was really, really early, late March, and it was in lockdown. And I saw this guy near my house doing Tai Chi in his driveway. I just happened to have a walking stick flute. It's a thing. So I started do while he's doing this Tai Chi. And for that moment, we just shared that space. And then I left. And wow, music. Another is gratitude. That's how you awaken that inner wisdom. Gratitude, celebrate everything. Celebrate. I've been having fabulous meals. I have these squash blossoms now. So every morning I go out there and say, okay, how many are there? I make squash blossom quesadillas, or I put them in my omelet, and I'm so happy. So those little things is enough to awaken that inner wisdom, that inner sage. Pema Chodron, you probably know who she is, the Buddhist nun and fabulous author. She says, it's also helpful to realize that this very body that we have, that's sitting right here, right now, with its aches and its pleasures, is exactly what we need to be fully human, fully awake, fully alive. So I'm going to end with, there's something that the Dene, the Navajo people do. It's called the Beauty Way Chant. When you walk in beauty, it's a way of walking. It's not that you're looking and you're noticing all the flowers. It's simply a way of being. You're open, you're aware, and you're aware to that beauty, and you'll find it everywhere. So I want to end with this. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again. I will walk out today. Everything negative will leave me. I will be as I was before, and I will have a cool breeze over my body. I will have a light body, and I will be happy forever. Nothing will hinder me. I will walk with beauty before me. I will walk with beauty behind me. I will walk with beauty below me. I will walk with beauty above me. I walk with beauty around me. My words will be beautiful. In beauty all day long may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With dew about my feet may I walk. With beauty before me may I walk. With beauty behind me may I walk. With beauty below me may I walk. With beauty above me may I walk. With beauty all around me may I walk. In old age, wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I be. In old age, wandering on a trail of beauty, living again, may I walk. My words will be beautiful. Aho. So let's get comfortable. Let's close with an affirming prayer. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, put your feet onto the ground. Now just listen to your body. See if you can feel your hands without looking at them. Become aware of your hands. Where are they? How do they feel in space and time? Are they on your knees, on your legs, on the chair, holding someone else's hand? And let the energy begin to pulsate through those hands. And as you do that, you will become aware of the fact that there is an energy and a love permeating through everything, keeping us alive, sustaining us. We're here on purpose. We are here with purpose. And that purpose is to help each other through this life, to recognize and to see each other's glory and pain and happiness and sadness and joy. Now bring your awareness to your heart area and imagine that you're breathing through that heart space. And now bring to mind someone who's easy to think about, someone you love or loves you, who may still be here or may not be here. They may be a fur friend. They may be someone close to you, someone who's gone. Just bring them to that heart space and smile in your heart. Smile from your heart. And just be aware that there is a wisdom available to you at any given time that has always been there. There's a part of you that has never been hurt, that has never been sad, that has never struggled, that has always been happy, and that is infinite. And that wisdom is available to you anytime you need it. And now, Tell yourself thank you. Tell that wisdom thank you. Tell your heart thank you for pumping that blood without you even thinking about it and bringing nourishment. And know that in this moment, all of your needs are met. And so it is. Thank you. So June is also GLGBTQ Pride Month, and the unofficial anthem of the Pride movement is Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because Judy Garland died the night of the Stonewall riots, and how that came to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you for the beautiful being you brought today. It goes by the name of Reverend Randy. So now we typically have our offering, and as you know, our offering basket is in the back, and we also have the ability to place an offering via our website. And so I just now recognize that we are receiving these offerings both virtually and in person. And so we give thanks for these offerings that have already been given and for those we will be receiving, because we know that giving and receiving are both part of the one flow. And so we bless these gifts and know they are multiplied throughout our community. And I just want to say thanks to the folks here who have contributed to the production of this service, some of them in the sanctuary and some of them online. We're grateful for their service, and we thank the rest of you for joining us today. And lastly, we will keep the Zoom meeting open for a while after service. We'll turn the recording off, of course, and you can visit with one another. And those of you who are here today, please join us in the social hall. We have some snacks there and some coffee. So now, please stand and read with me the benediction, which you're all very familiar with, and that will be followed by our peace song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world. And so it is.